I want you to understand that forget whatever that is going on social media. Forget whatever that the Nigeria terrorist states are saying on social media and behaving on their National Assembly. They know that the game is over. I am telling you the fact. The northern Nigeria know that the game is over. I know what is going on within them. The presidency of Nigeria know that the game is over. The Senate President Ekpa knows that the game is over. The only people that do not know, or maybe they are just skeptical, are the gullible one Nigerians who are believing in the Nigeria terrorist army that they have the capability to eliminate Biafrans, not knowing that I actually lost the war already before even the war started.
Only one under his leadership, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Anybody that is confusing anyone or telling you there is another, no, there is nothing. There's just one, recognized by His Excellency Simon Ekpa. And we can pray. Once he has that communication, Biafrans, we understand that Obato Obie does not take no crap from nobody. No matter who you are, you must respect that authority. That authority is the only thing that can protect all of us.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you to this amazing platform. Wherever you are connecting from, please like and share this program. Share to all platforms, share to family and friends, share to everyone that you can be able to reach. This platform where you are watching this program is a platform that stands with the United States of Biafra. The United States of Biafra, under the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Njoku, and on the Supreme Command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Oronigwe. Wherever you are watching us from, I urge you to share this program so that others can be able to join us and hear what is going on. The atrocities of Nigeria has gotten to the level that is unimaginable. If you do not end Nigeria, Nigeria will end you. I want you to watch this program that I'm about to play from beginning to end. You are going to see a first-hand experience of what the poor people are facing in the zoological republic called Nigeria, in the hand of the politicians and those who call themselves the leaders of the zoo. Nigeria has to be destroyed and ended before it ends humanity. I want you to pay close attention to this very video that is about to play so that you can see the experience of the poor masses in Nigeria. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's watch and hear what happened.
But let us not actually overlook the main issues, which is that Nigerians are not happy. Esther, I don't know how to put it, you know, but when the
Chima,
father of the house,
you don't have to.
He's not paying attention to his hungry children.
You don't have to overemphasize. It's not even about father of the house and hungry children. Chima, staple food items are so expensive. The other day, I played a vox pop of some of the, one of our correspondents who went to the market to ask as to how much food prices are. The federal government told us, or rather, the president told us that food prices have crashed significantly.
Esther, it's not the president that will tell us that food prices have crashed. We are the ones that will tell him.
The realistic thing here is the fact that that's not what the case is. It's a very different situation that is actually unveiling itself. Choma, you would try to understand what the priority of Nigerians are. If you go on social media at this point in time, you're seeing campaigns of propaganda against different politicians, propaganda towards and against 2027. It's the focus of the day amongst our youths are meant to viably call out the government and say we need all of this to be implemented as soon as possible. So if Delta State's youth are protesting, Kaduna is protesting, well, in time past, we haven't actually seen if any of those protests would take or make any significant difference. But the thing is the fact that at this particular point in time, while the presidency is telling us that food prices have crashed, they are actually not the truth. There's huge inflation severely, and that's why the 36 state governors have decided to come to possibly assist the federal government in saying how they could ameliorate this. The other time, when it was really bad, when fuel subsidy was, abruptly removed, we heard how the governors of these different states set up different palliative measures to curtail this. In Lagos, they set up food banks. They also set up markets where food were actually subsidized. But the question is, how long will this continue? How long would Nigerians continue to sustain with this? How far and how well will the administration give accountability of itself? Like I said, sometimes we say the buck stops at the table of the president, but the inadequacy or the inefficiency of the governors, the ministers, the House of Rep members, and the senators brings to question, what are they actually doing at the grassroots level? You could hear that the Benue State residents who are protesting about hunger and the unavailability of basic food items. Apparently, the welfare and donations being done by good Nigerians, those who try to empathize with the situation, they are saying they haven't gotten anything. They haven't gotten anything.
This is not
so
even
they
the
have
first time we're
taken
hearing about
advantage
diversion
of
of
but
what
at this
IDPs should be
crucial
getting.
time. No, with what happened in Benue, how could anyone divert relief materials to themselves? Are you not applying a cost on yourself? I don't understand. Again, they always say that when we complain about the government, Nigerians too do. They do themselves. They take advantage of any situation to impede hunger, to impede hardship on themselves. Any little scenario, they fluctuate the market, and it's the end result. We are the end result that feel the implication of this. Choma, today, the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja actually granted the suspended senator representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti, a bail of the sum of 50 million naira, and one shorty who must be a person of reasonable integrity. Justice Chizoba Orji was the one who made the declaration in a ruling after taking arguments for and against the bail application from the parties in the suit. Now, based on the charges from the federal government, Akpabio and the former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, they were the nominal complainants. Now they are alleging that Natasha Akpoti claimed Bello had conspired with Akpabio to orchestrate her assassination, and that these claims were made in a live broadcast. Well, she has been granted bail. She's definitely not going to, her trial will commence possibly in July, or yes, thereabout, very soon. There were speculations that she may have been imprisoned. Possibly they expected the judge to imprison her or not grant her bail.
What I read was that the judge, when that was brought up, the judge was like, no, you can't do that. Let's not do that. But then that brings us the question, if this was not a senator, even though suspended senator of the Federal Republic, if this was just an ordinary Nigerian with nothing to their name, would the same goodwill have been extended to them? So we really have to look at that, how we treat people, even though, she's almost now the face of the oppressed Nigerian woman.
An lecturer is in contempt of court. Up to today, he has not responded to court order. In the National Rescue Movement case, actually, they were supposed to serve him a document from the court for contempt. They said that the INEC quarters has been barricaded by security officials. They've not been able to give him or serve him. And this is the second or the third time that contempt of court order has been planned to be served to the INEC chair. And up till now, the INEC chair has not responded to that. We've not heard anybody say anything as to him actually appearing in court or his contempt of court. Today, the case of Nnamdi Kanu was also brought up. And you do know that all the cases against him has been closed, specifically the cases of terrorism. So basically, what the federal government is actually stipulating is this. His trial will commence on the 18th. But there were other issues that were considered in that terrorism trial. Choma Innocent, first of all, before the case was closed against Nnamdi Kanu, they said the witness that was brought in by the federal government, most of the statements and reports he made were not statements that he had direct evidence with. They were basically newspaper clippings, stories heard on the news or newspapers. They asked questions, as Nnamdi Kanu's legal counsel asked him, what is your evidence beyond I heard, I read, were you there? What is your first-hand primary evidence?
Who have first-hand experience of whatever it is that they want to come and talk about. But the part me I don't understand is reports linking Nnamdi Kanu to EndSARS violence.
I don't know. Although it was because of the broadcast that we heard at the time when certain statements were made. So that was how they turned
statements.
They now turned NSAS, which we know it was unplanned. They turned it to something else.
NSAS was really organic.
But they turned it to something else. They named it as something else. They made it seem like
you
a
remember
particular
when someone came and said it was the obedience that
was not even the other
that.
They turned it to the fact that it was a means through which the Southeasterners wanted to take over the government. It became something else. But Sherma, when somebody closes a case in a trial, it means that they have finished presenting all their evidence, witnesses, and arguments to the court. And this is a development that came after the fifth prosecution witness testified only as EEE due to security concerns. This was what he did in court. Now, the witness was led in evidence and later questioned by Kanu's lawyer, Onyechi Ekpa, in a session presided over by Justice James Omotosho. Now, the government's lawyer, Chief Adigboyega Awomolo, informed the court that the prosecution counsel had called all 5 witnesses it planned to rely on, so they were done. He noted that the evidence presented, including video materials showing the activities of Nnamdi Kanu, was enough to support the charges of terrorism against him. So based on this, he formally closed the case. But the lead defense of Nnamdi Kanu actually notified the court of the defense team's plan to file a no-case submission. This move means that they will argue that the government has not provided enough evidence to or for the case to proceed, and that the filing will be done in a later date. So they ask questions like, what is your verifiable evidence to prove all of these allegations? Were you there? Were you present? What was your own personal investigation? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The affidavits presented, beyond the fact that, okay, you saw that you were able to have a first hand on the transmitter that was brought in and all the other technical gadgets that he brought in. They made statements that other persons too import all of those gadgets. Okay, you brought in all the broadcasts, but how can you verify that based on his broadcast, certain instances occurred because of it? So one of them were like, oh, I got this report from the newspaper, I got this report from the news. You did not really truly
the media.
Exactly. You did not categorically, you weren't there. What in-depth investigation did you carry beyond all of the broadcasts which he did openly? And then they also said that based on the first time he was arrested, he had no legal representative. So most of the statements that were made, according to Nnamdi Kanu's legal representative, they said he made those statements under duress. So how can you admit that in court if you had no lawyer present? It's almost like you compel somebody to say what they're not supposed to say. But so far, how would you describe this trial to be, though? Would you consider the fact that, fairly enough, now that they changed the justice, the course has proceeded well? So far, no hamper. Today I saw Amoyele Sowore in the court because Nnamdi Kanu appeared in court. Anytime he comes in court, they barricade everywhere. They know no other case
you can
go on.
Why that is happening.
Do you know how much they pay per anytime he appears in court? The federal government's taxpayers' money that goes into bringing him to court, moving him around and all that. They barricade everywhere. And I think Omayele Sowore was complaining. We saw videos of that, him saying, I have a case here too. Why are you barricading me? Why are you stopping me? Other persons felt that he just likes drama.
Case, past case.
But
and that's the truth.
Where would
when
he
it
run
comes to Omoyele Sowore and Nnamdi Kanu right now, we know who the federal government is focusing more on. And of course, the reason why they're doing that, the charges of
but
terrorism.
they made statements like he just likes the attention to be on himself. He literally is just going beyond board. What exactly are you doing in court if you have nothing to do there?
And why he said he had a case there, you not just wake up and go to court when you don't have any reason to be there. All right. And also there's this thing about just giving someone that is it like benefit of the doubt now of, oh, we recognize this person, he's not going to come there and cause trouble. Sowore will not go there and start behaving violently because he knows he also has something to lose. But at the end of the day, of course, we have the people who support the federal government on one hand and people who support Nnamdi Kanu on the other hand, and all they've been saying is release Nnamdi Kanu and let him go. If the prosecuting side they've showed all of their evidence, they've shown their hand, we're waiting for the defense to present their case. And let's see what they have to say about all of those damning utterances.
Yes,
that
they
he
said
made
on July 18. they'll present a no-case submission, especially on terrorism charges, and that on the various past judgments, which includes one from 2017 that ruled IPOB was not an unlawful group, and another from 2022 which described his arrest in Kenya and return to Nigeria as a breach of his fundamental rights, Kanu reacted based on this. So he criticized the government for not appealing some of these rulings and instead resorted to secret legal steps. He also raised concerns over how his bail was revoked and how the Supreme Court later stated the revocation showed bias. But despite this, the High Court did not reinstate his bail when the case was returned to it. He also noted that a judge who once handled his case had recused herself, yet the case was reassigned to her. These were all the reactions that he stated after the no case submission, which obviously they had actually shifted to July 18. So based on all of this, though, the justice system ever since has been on the front burner. They feel that possibly his geographical location is the cause of this delay, the fact that he's not been given bail, some sort of political negotiation has not taken place like what happened with this guy, is it Bello Bodejudi, Miete Alaka Hare leader, and what's his name also? Sunday Igboho as well, although Sunday Igboho is still on the wanted list anyways, but there's no opportunity yet provided for to know if when he returns,
even as the trial drags into his 4th year.
So in that particular regard, coming back to insecurity and our court cases, well, we'll say today that the Nigerian Navy did something well. They were able to destroy some of the weapon base for Boko Haram and bandits.
The IED factory, that's a good one. That's where they put together their weapons of mass destruction. At least the people who live in those areas and Nigerians as a whole can actually have a breather and just say, oh.
But we don't want, beyond.
But this is one out of many.
Beyond destroying the equipment and the base, we want to hear them not just repel these guys, neutralize these guys.
And being arrested, prosecuted.
There is no point for prosecution, Chioma. There is no point for prosecution. When you prosecute, they reintegrate these guys. That's the problem. The Chief of Defense Staff said there are moles in the Nigerian military. Why won't there be moles?
And if they know they are moles, why not actually put things in place to
there is
fish
no
them
putting.
out?
The moles are obviously those who have been reintegrated. It's as simple as broad daylight. That's basically what it is. There's no need to possibly give a different profile or different tag to it. You integrate these individuals.
This non-kinetic approach that they keep talking about.
If it works, good. But so far, it's not been 70% okay. It's not even been 20% okay. What are the measures given to these individuals that you make them ensure that they don't go back to doing this? Or they're not utilized. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So they are within, they're still giving information out there, and they're still recruiting. So if that is the case, why is that measure not even extended to other persons you consider carrying about this mayhem? If it were others, they'll shoot at sight. There's no point for you to even drop your weapons. We saw a reconciliatory measure with the Nigerian military and some of these terrorists. Very recently, we saw the videos looking for how they can adhere to peace. So what then happens after that?
I feel so sad for the Nigerian soldiers who have to be at the forefront of this war, and then they catch these people, bring them back, expect to be rewarded, expect to be told you have done well, then they get an order from above, and then they say, oh, you take them to so place, and the next day you see somebody that you have captured again. You recall when someone also came out and made a video and said, I saw the bandit that kidnapped me in the mosque. Like, we're doing prayers together, you know, so people cannot have that sense of security, even when the government tries to say, oh, we will secure you, we are trying our best, we're doing our best. Nigerians don't see them as doing their best, because at the end of the day, these people who are not supposed to see the sky again
at all
are moving freely.
Exactly. That's very, very, what I say, unfortunate. Choma, I would say we need to wrap up right now on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Njoku.
And my name is Chioma Innocent. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Good evening. See you for the evening rush at precisely 7 o'clock.
Asekwana na de Chineke ga-eme ọ ga-emekwa ịfụnanya isi n'igwe na nwere ihe ọ ga-eme maka Biafra ọ ga-eme ya ịfụ ya n'anya
You got that good? It's like all day. You got that good? I want PA.
This is why I advise my viewers to always try to spend their time also and pay attention to the conventional media. You can see that almost everything that we are seeing on the social media is said in the conventional media, even though they try to be politically correct. But I bet you, the only place you can see the raw truth is on the social media and the platforms of the United States of Biafra, where we disseminate information the way it is. You can see even a fellow Biafran defending the atrocities of Nigeria against its own people. It is a shame. It is a shame. But they do these things in order to create that problem and coerce between us. We must pay attention. We move. Biafra all the way.